All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our attention from being centered at the origin to be centered pretty much anywhere in the plane, right? So as you're thinking about this, think about what we did with circles. Okay, let's reflect back on when we studied circles. Okay, circles are like are very similar to ellipses, right? How do we describe circles when they were at the origin? We had x, y, right? We had a formula. What was the standard form of a circle? It was what? X squared plus y squared equals what? R squared, right? The radius. What if it was a unit circle, right? What if it was a circle of radius 1? We got x squared plus y squared equals 1. Well, think about what we're doing with the ellipse. The ellipse, the only difference is we have it equal to 1, but we're dividing by some non-zero value, right? A positive value, some non-zero or a non-negative, positive value, right? So we're just multiplying by some positive value, the x and the y squared, okay? What did we do when we moved the circle away from the center of the circle away from the origin? Well, we just added an h and a k, right? So that's what we're going to do with the ellipse. We're just going to add h and k to the mix, which is going to affect the way we calculate the foci location and the vertices. So again, just pay attention to what we're doing here. Okay. So the equation we're going to do now that we're not at the origin, we're not going to talk about the x-axis versus y-axis as far as the major and minor axes. We're now going to look at whether the major axis is the horizontal axis or the vertical axis. Okay, so, and on this side it's going to be the horizontal. So on the left side, this is going to be if the major axis is horizontal. Okay, so that would be the quantity x minus h squared over a squared plus y minus k quantity squared over b squared is equal to 1. Versus if the major axis is vertical, it would just be x minus h quantity squared over b squared plus y minus k quantity squared over a squared equals 1. So the only difference is now we're adding h and k to the mix. That's it. And now the center, in this case here, the center will always be h comma k. Right? That's what this is telling us. It's telling us that the center is now located at h comma k. And now the foci are located, remember, along the major axis, okay, and we're going what? C units from the center in both directions, right? So if this is the center and the foci are along the major axis, which in this case is horizontal, we are going C units to the right and to the left. So the foci, now the k value stays the same. So in this case here, the foci would be at h minus c, comma k, and h plus c, comma k. And of course, if we're talking about the vertical direction for the major axis, then we would just swap the coordinates. So it would be h, comma, k minus c, and h, comma, k plus c. Now, what about the vertices? Now the vertices, because we're going horizontal, we're going to call the vertices are going to be the endpoints for the major versus the endpoints for the minor. Okay? So in this case here, if we're talking about the major axis, the vertices on the major axis, that's your A, right? So that means it's going to be what? it's going to be A units from the center, and in this case it's going to be H from H. So it's going to be H minus A comma K, and then the other one would be H plus A comma K. And those would be the coordinates or the points for the foci. Or excuse me, for the vertices of the major axis. And of course, if it's switched to being vertical, then we just switch the coordinates, or we switch where the A is. So in this case here, it'd be H comma K minus A, and the other point would be H comma K plus A. And then finally, the endpoints for the minor axis, that's going to be where your B comes in. So if it's horizontal, then your minor axis is vertical. So in this case here, it would be H comma K minus B. And then it would be H comma K plus B. And then if the major axis is vertical, then that would mean the minor axis is horizontal. And so in this case here, it would be H minus B comma K and H plus B comma K. And that's it. So make sure you understand, memorize these, do whatever it takes so that you know these without having to really think about it too much.